So I kind of missed it in the news dump the other week, but John Wall officially retired from the game of basketball. He's been out of the league for a few years, but his career definitely deserves a shout out. When people make those what if lists, the Grant Hill, Derrick Rose, Greg Oden, Yao Ming, Tracy McGrady lists, John Wall should be on those lists. People have already forgotten how good he was at his peak, and his time was a fun time to be a fan of the NBA and a fan of point guards because it was the athletic freak era. We had Derrick Rose, we had Russell Westbrook, we had John Wall. John Wall doesn't get put in those conversations for some reason, but he was just as athletic as those two. And I'm saying this as a diehard Derrick Rose fan, but John Wall was just as fast, could jump just as high. His game wasn't quite as reckless as Russ and Derrick Rose's were. He wasn't, the lethal killer that those guys were going to the hoop, but athleticism wise, he was every bit the athlete those guys were. And there's a couple things he actually had that those guys didn't have. He was a better playmaker than those two, especially towards the end of his Wizards run, right before the injuries set in. He became a really good playmaker in the NBA. That's something that Derrick Rose and Russell Westbrook, they never really got to, setting up their teammates. John Wall, he became fantastic at that. He became a great navigator of the pick and roll and finding the cutters. He also was a great defender. He was a much better defender than Derrick Rose or Russell Westbrook ever were. So John Wall, man, he deserves a good shout out. He was a great player for a short time there. And his Wizards run, don't forget they made the Eastern Conference Finals. That was a good team. Him and Bradley Beal, they were going to be a very good backcourt for a very long time. And then he unfortunately had the ACL followed by the Achilles and just some of the worst injury luck you will ever see. So sad to think of what could have been, but we also should celebrate what was, because for a time there, man, he was a really good point guard. He was an absolute problem on the court. And it's sad because he's probably just going to get lost to time. People are going to forget about him eventually, but I won't. I'll remember what I watched. I'll remember how great he was for that short peak there. So shout out John Wall. Congrats on a great career. Good luck in whatever you're doing next.